What's up, guys? Back with the Sneaker Division. Got your boy Jeremy Cash.
Caesar Prize.
This was a little more serious and it's a little more personal today. So we're gonna be talking about disabilities. And as you guys know, if you've watched any of my other episodes or if you know me personally, you know that I'm disabled. I have spinal cord injury. I was injured 15 years ago. Actually, I'm actually really lucky with my injury because I don't have any problems with my hands. Like, I still have full dexterity in my hands, full use of my arms. I can still put my shoes on just fine. Well, sometimes. We actually saw me with the LeBron 17s. I think we'll actually film that later and maybe include that in this episode, where I was trying to put some LeBron 17s on and I could not get them on to save my life. What's up, guys? So I wanted to show you a couple of different things. So because of the fact that I'm in the wheelchair, right? My doctor has always told me that I need to go ahead and get size 12, even though I'm actually a size 11. And you guys know I always get size 12, but that's the reason why, is because the doctor told me that I needed to do that. The doctor told me that I needed to do that because of the fact of swelling happens. So there's tons of times where, like, maybe blood clots will happen or just different things where my feet will swell. And I've literally seen my feet like almost double the size, and luckily I wasn't going out that day. But I wanted to show you why this is a huge thing and a very big difference. This is an 11 and a half. Okay, this is a LeBron. I've gotten it loosened up as much as I possibly can, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to put this on my foot. Now again, remember, I'm normally an 11. This is an 11 and a half. I'm gonna show you how hard it is to get the shoe on my foot. A lot of people in wheelchairs can't even do that, what I just did, by the way. And they can't do this either. So, I'm already way ahead of the game. But I just can't. Oh, I did get it in. That's crazy. That's the first time I've ever gotten the shoe on. Ever. I've been trying. I've tried 3 different occasions and I couldn't get the shoe on. I'm really upset that worked right now. But anyways, you see how hard that was versus this is an 11 and a half. This is my buddy Pat's personal shoe. I normally get 12s, like I said, but he let me borrow this one just to show. This is how easy it is to put on an 11 and a half whenever. Look, done. Imagine if I had a caretaker or something like that and they had to put shoes on for somebody every day. Putting this shoe on them is gonna take so much time, and it's gonna like literally physically hurt the nurses to do that. So to have a shoe like this, or like the Fly-Ease Go, like any of those are so much better than these regular ass shoes or these sneakers that are like really tight to put on and everything like that. So anyways, I just wanted to show you guys that, just so you understand why these are supposed to be made for people with disabilities and not just for regular ass people. Like, this is specifically for people with disabilities, and for you to buy these and then do a hyper resale on them is actually pretty fucked up. So maybe think about that in the future. If you are a reseller and you're picking up the Fly-Ease Go or these type of Fly-Ease shoes, these are not for you. These are for disabled people, and Nike needs to stop not using the words disabled whenever they're marketing this shoe. They need to specifically market this shoe for disabled people so people understand that this is not for them. This is for people who are in wheelchairs or people who have hand problems. Maybe you have Parkinson's or something like that and you can't get your hand to grip on things. There's so many different reasons why you could possibly not be able to put your own shoe on, and you need this shoe other than a regular person who is fully abled. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out to you guys. I really appreciate your time, and let's get back to the video. Things like this that we're talking about today are things that are supposed to help with that. And the problem and the reason why it's a little more serious instead of actually fun and lighthearted and like a good heartwarming story or whatever you want to call it is Nike sucks. Yeah, I was gonna just go straight into there, huh? What do you think about it? You've already read the article we're about to go over.
I think they're just being discriminative. That's all. I don't know. It's a whole different world, man. Like the way it's just wrong. That's all. Essentially, I don't know. There's so much I want to say, but I'm just gonna.
All right, so we're gonna refer to this article that's been written by Slate. I really do like the article. That it was really well written. And basically, what happened is in 2015, Nike ended up starting to come out with a shoe. Actually, sorry, it goes all the way back to 2008. So it starts in 2008. And there's a person named Toby Hatfield, and he's a designer, and he's making an accessible shoe for one of the executives. His name is Jeff Johnson. I guess Jeff Johnson had a stroke.
Yeah.
And after his stroke, couldn't use his hands as much. He couldn't, you lose a lot of dexterity and stuff like that, especially if you have the stroke on the left side of your brain, then the right side of your body becomes paralyzed almost, and that includes your legs, arms, everything. So anyway, so they made an accessible shoe specifically for him. The custom pair featured 2 pieces of hinged Velcro around the instep, and the heel was intended as a temporary solution during his recovery. And then Hatfield then turned his focus on the flexible sole platforms, the Nike Free, and performance prosthetics for Paralympic elite athletes. In 2012, he was handed a letter from another CEO, Mark Parker. And this was a letter from a teenager with cerebral palsy, and his name is Matthew Walzer. And he wanted a laceless athletic shoe with ankle support that was easy for him to slip on. So that's where basically this all comes from. This kid with cerebral palsy, needed a shoe. They had already kind of made a prototype almost for one of the CEOs who had a stroke, which it's kind of funny how disabled people existed obviously before 2008, but they didn't think about it or try to do anything about it until one of their executives got a stroke. And then now all of a sudden, let's give him a shoe that will help him. But they never thought about disabled people before, it seems like. Anyways, it gets worse from there because they did end up releasing something to that kid. It was a LeBron shoe.
Yeah, it was a LeBron 8 Soldier, and they, instead of it being laces, they created like Velcro straps.
Yeah, and a zipper.
With the zipper, and that was like the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And that was in 2015. And so they marketed it as an inspirational, heartwarming collaboration between the inventor and the 16-year-old with cerebral palsy. I'm sorry for stuttering a little bit there. Now, they created it as an accessible product for all people, and they were supposed to, be for everybody, which is obviously fine. But the problem with that comes into play whenever they do these limited releases. You can't say that the shoe is for everybody and then only give out 2,000 pairs. You can't say the shoe's for everybody and only give out 10,000 pairs even. There's more than 10,000 people that are disabled, even in America alone. There's probably more than 10,000 people that are disabled in Florida alone. You know what I mean? It's insane to even to try to put a limit on this. Now, if you want to do it to where it's a limited release for regular people, and then as long as you have a doctor's note or something like that, then all of a sudden you get to have an extra pair come to you, then that's fine too. I don't know how else to do this stuff, but you guys need to figure something out to get this out to everybody.
So essentially what Nike did is took this amazing story and this amazing ability and saw something that could be very helpful to all who are disabled, but instead the executives decided to how can we turn this into mass adoption for everyone to be just as hot as limited releases, you know what I mean? And that's where they messed up, because it should have been marketed first and foremost, exclusively
To disabled people.
To disabled
like, don't
people.
buy this unless you're disabled.
right. Like the way they market it is they went ahead and threw away that story. Basically, it's crazy because the article talks about how they broke it down into like a 4-step process to eliminate the word disabled.
Yeah.
Just the word disability.
They don't want that word in their marketing
bad?
at all.
It's
because
bad.
it somehow has a negative connotation to them.
Right.
Which, like, they had this opportunity. This is a great opportunity that they could have used to literally highlight disabilities.
Right.
They could have been like, look at all of these these people with disabilities and how they succeed in life still, and how they can, you know, still benefit society and stop the negative connotation. Like, help us get awareness for different. Like, you could have done a different person for every disability and had a different commercial for every single one. You could have had a cerebral palsy commercial. You could have had a Parkinson's commercial. You could have had a spinal cord injury commercial.
There's so many times
Multiple sclerosis. Like there's like there's just so many different ones that like it can cause you to where you can't use your hands anymore. Or there's so many things that I don't even know of that are just specifically that attack your hands and your nerves and your dexterity and your ability to do these things. And the crazy thing is too is sometimes it won't even help you get the shoe on as a disabled person, but as your caretaker, you guys don't even understand what it means to have a caretaker and what that entails for the caretaker to have to do all of this stuff for you. So to have this shoe to be able to use and to put on your feet is so much easier and so much better for them. It's so upsetting that they did this. So there's another thing that I wanted to bring up. It's called the peeled orange phenomenon.
The peeled orange phenomenon.
Okay, so people will see a peeled orange inside of a store and go, why does that exist? It's not that hard to peel an orange. Why would you put that up there? That's just for lazy people, or that's lazy. And it isn't marketed for disabled people at all. They purposefully leave that word out or that out of the marketing so that people don't even understand that that is what it's for. And they literally look at that stuff and they look at it as it's supposed to be for lazy people, and it's not at all. Like, literally, there was a American Paralympian, Sarah Reinerstein, on the design team, and she said it's one of the most universal shoes ever, and it's for everybody, but they don't even, like, include her.
Yeah, what's sickening is, like, throughout this process, Nike pretty much planned this whole thing out to kind of blow up Fly's from what I was reading the article. And out of this whole like 4-step process, the first one, they decided to go after this disabled runner, right? And go after him and his story.
Justin Gallegos, which is a disabled runner in Oregon State, and they gave him a professional contract.
As
professional.
Right.
Athlete, and because of that, he lost his student athlete amateur status, and because he received money or a contract through Nike from them. But like literally, they like took a couple of pictures with him, and then like he, I think, made an article about the shoes one time, and then that's it. Like they stopped talking to him, they stopped like messing with him, they stopped like contacting him. Like they literally
blew up the story.
Yeah, they got the story by signing like a disabled person.
They didn't sign him though. They gifted him the contract. That was the difference.
I mean, it says they gave him a professional contract.
They gifted him a professional contract versus him being signed. And so there's a huge difference in being given something or actually being signed as like a professional contract. You know what I mean?
I don't see that, sir. I think that you're wrong. I think that it was signed professional contract, but it says it was as a gift. It wasn't like it wasn't. They weren't taking it seriously. It was like literally like, oh, we'll just give him this. And it is an actual signed contract, but they're just giving it to him just so that they can get the story, and they can like literally as soon as they get the story, they can throw him away like he never existed. So, but he still gets the signed contract, but because he even gets that and he got money from that, he loses his amateur status from his student athlete. Like, it's just.
And what did they do with his contract? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a few months afterwards, they literally stopped talking to him, and now he's gone.
He's gone. So from there, they took that story and evolved it, and now you have the mass appeal. And so now they started to create little hints here and there about this Fly East, right? And then one of the next steps, I think it was the third one, is that they started creating this hype. And so at first they started to change words around. So again, they went from disabled athletes to adaptive athletes.
Yeah.
And it went from, something about disabilities, and it's something for all. Like they try to make it, instead of it being for just disabled people, it's for all the masses. This is where they start plugging in those things, right? And so the original idea for the commercial was to have a bunch of disabled athletes or disabled people be in the commercial, right? And
then
that's how they recorded it originally.
And then they scrapped it.
And then they did scrap it. And from recording all these disabled people that had about, 10, 12, something to those numbers, it's sickening, because the final product that came out, it was all normal human beings and then one disabled person, and it was quick. It was like,
Yeah, like literally like a half a second of a shot.
like a second of a shot. You know what I mean? Like, not fair is what I'm saying.
So again, they released these things. The $120 price point they had them at was already going to be probably hard for a lot of people with disabilities to buy them, because most people with disabilities live on very small budgets. I've seen people that are on disability that live off of about $1,200 a month. That's insane. My rent or my mortgage payment is $2,000 a month. Just give some perspective a little bit. Now, that's just the retail price of $120. What do you think they're going for on StockX right now? So they're going for like $350. They were going for a lot more before.
Still $350.
At one point, they were going for $500-$600, like even up to $700, I think. But yeah, they're still going for $350 right now. And that's a lot of money for people that are on budgets, especially, like I said, if they're only making $1,200 a month, like, and most of their bills are already spent out, like, how are they gonna get this? So, I don't know. I just think that Nike really missed the mark with this one. They tried, or I guess it started with good intentions, and then I guess they just let the profit motive take over. I don't know what happened. That's the only thing that I can say.
Absolutely. They had the opportunity to create something beautiful. They could have created a movement and created an awareness to the world,
Yeah.
And instead they let their corporate greed and whatever the case may be, man. It's just greed straight up, and their profit take over, man. And it's crazy, because
It's sad.
it is sad. It's like you first created a product to save one of your executives, and yet.
And again, before that happened, you never even thought about it before.
Right.
Like, you just never even crossed your mind that maybe somebody couldn't put shoes on with their hands.
But then even after that, it should have changed the way you approach things, and like you just went right back into the same old greedy self. So it's just sickening.
So there's a few different shoes that have come out. The one that we were talking about earlier is the Go Flyees. These, the ones that we got today to show you, is the Air Jordan 1 Flyees. There's two different colorways that they've released.
Yes, sir.
I like both of them. And they are very useful. And I want to get into that.
Bust them up at the same time.
So, he's got the orange, I got the gray. These are the two colorways that are out. I like that colorway a lot more than I like this colorway, but this is very nice and plain and doesn't like stand out too much, and I think that this is a really good colorway as well. Now, where, like, this looks just like a regular Jordan, doesn't it?
I mean, it's just like a regular.
You kind of see the difference on this side a little bit, can you? Like,
Jordan High.
I know if I get closer, you can now definitely see it, but here, you can't see it there. But let's show you what the magic is with these. So In order to pull these off, you open that right there, right? Now you can continue with this. Oh my goodness. Where does that,
Yeah, keep going.
you just keep going with it like that?
Yeah.
That's so weird. And then this right here completely comes off. So you can lift the tongue completely out. And you can get your foot all the way in there. And then once your foot's all the way in there, put that down, flip this back over top, and then you bring this
Zip it back.
back up, and then
Strap it back.
strap
in.
it back in. So you never have to actually use your hands to tie anything. This is all for looks, and it looks really well whenever you actually have it down. It doesn't look like it's Velcro at any means. It
Yeah.
looks perfectly normal. Again, I like this colorway a lot more though.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So this is from my buddy Pat.
hmm
This is his pair, but
These are his
this-
personal pairs, yeah.
You get to see them, but yeah, I like this colorway a lot. And again, like even this was $140,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't have been $140. This should have been marketed lower, and specifically for disabled people.
Or again, I mean, you can still have it at the $140 mark, but like allow a program where you literally get to sign up and prove that you're disabled or something like that, and then you get the shoes for free. Or, I mean, there's so many different things that you can do as a corporation, Nike. There's not that many disabled people in this world that you couldn't just give them all a free pair of shoes. Like,
Either that or have a system to where
even just have it at cost where like, or whenever a regular person buys a pair of shoes, a free pair of shoes goes to somebody with a disability.
Right.
Like there's so many different things that you can do
to be more beautiful.
that can help that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I think they did a really good job with these though. I think that
For sure.
for Jordan 1 High.
These are banging.
And you know what? Do you think people would still buy these if they were specifically marketed as disability shoes?
It's a great question.
Do you think that, like, I
Let's
understand that there's the negative connotation, but it's not really negative. If I wasn't disabled and I saw something marketed as a disability shoe, I wouldn't buy that shoe because I'm not disabled and I'm not a dick that I'm gonna take away a shoe from somebody that is disabled.
That's where Nike's problem is. They're like, well, if we do that, then we can't sell its potential. We can't make the max. We can't squeeze the max profit.
But they don't even know that. They don't know that. There's plenty of disabled people out there that would buy these shoes if it was marketed as that.
Think what you just said, and so a lot of people are going to be like, nah, that's just for disabled people, and they want those people to buy that.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay, but
they did what they did.
Again, in the commercial though, they could be like,
Hungry.
it's marketed, it's made for disabled people. It's just like the deodorant commercial, man. It's strong enough for a woman, or strong enough for a man, but it's made for a woman or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's made for freaking people with disabilities, but everybody can wear it. But if you're gonna do that and you want everybody to wear it, make enough pairs for everybody. Don't do this limited run bullcrap, man. This is so stupid. If you're going to make something that's for a crowd of disabled people, make sure that disabled people can get it. There's no point in making an accessible shoe that isn't literally accessible to people who are handicapped.
Who needs it?
Like, what's the point?
Who needs it?
If they can't afford it and they can't do anything with it, what is the point? I really do like this shoe though. It's really nice. I really do like that one though.
Yeah,
That orange colorway
one.
is so much better. But this is gonna be, I'll probably end up doing like a good custom shoe on this one though. Well, not this one, this is Pat's pair. But I have a pair of orange ones, of gray ones, and you have the orange ones. So, but I'll probably get these like customized, and we pretty much share shoes anyways because we're the same size. So, but anyways, did you have anything else to add?
No, Nike, step your game up.
I agree. Nike, step your game up. Seriously.
It's time, dude. Like, seriously, like that is just.
hopefully one of these days soon, we're gonna be able to do an actual tour of Nike facilities, and I'm gonna be able to go there and question like the marketing team and the design team, everything like that, and see like what they're doing for disabled people and what they're doing for disabled athletes, who they have signed as disabled athletes, if they hire any disabled people for the design team. Obviously, one of the people that was designing this was disabled, but did they only bring a disabled person in to help design the shoe, this specific shoe, or is she like on all the design teams? You know, there's a lot of different questions that I personally want to ask, just solely based towards disabilities.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll be able to get that done. I don't know about this year, but like as soon as we get to 10,000 followers, we're definitely gonna be able to afford to go do that. So anyways, guys, I think we're good. And
Hey, comment below, tell us what you think.
for real, like,
You should look up the article. It's a Slate article on Google. Just Google what is it, Flyees,
you just put Slate,
Slate Flyees,
yeah,
and it'll probably
disability,
come up. Yeah,
it'll all come up.
you should read that article because it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one, man. But remember, it's nice to be important. Hey, Nike, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
And we will catch you later.
What was that?
I don't know.
I think you farted a little bit. Thanks for watching our video, guys. There's more over here if you like where that came from.
Like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Ding, 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 ding. We will catch you later.